And that would be Washington and Clark counties, with a severe thunderstorm here coming through Washington County and tracking into Clark County. As we head over into southern Mississippi, we've got numerous showers and storms, and some of those are starting to track back over into our area. What we're watching is this area here. Could that be continuing to give us some showers overnight tonight? We're approaching sunset now. This would be the time of the day where the daytime heating starts to wane, and so that's when you would expect the showers and thunderstorms to calm down, but they're still holding together pretty well. So we may have a lot going on between now and about 9 or 10 p.m. tonight, and we'll be covering this on Fox 10 News at 9 p.m. In the meantime, I want to show you what's going on in detail here with our storm tracker on Facebook. And looking at it right now, we are tracking the storm. So let's go in a little tighter. And this is a Doppler radar loop over the last 3 hours. A couple of things going on. Number one, we've got some stronger storms inland. This is where our warning is, up above Highway 43, just to the north and east of Chatham. Strong storm there near McVeigh, tracking across Clark County. Then we head over into Greene County with some scattered showers, and the same thing into George County. And then a new band of rain has formed up down here in Grand Bay, and that's going to be affecting southern Mobile County. So I want to start out with our warned area, and this cell here is moving to the east at about 20 miles an hour. So looking at the storm track on this one here, we'll put it back a little slower with our forward speed. That would put it, if it continues on its current track, in the Jackson area by 7:40. One thing I would like to mention is that these storms have been popping up in place, and so they are not moving a whole lot as they track on off to the east as they start to weaken somewhat, but where they're holding in place, that's where we will see the intensity to the storm. So the bottom line is, you know, it's not a perfect storm as far as being able to track it out through time, but if it continues that eastward progression, that's about what we would be expecting there. We just got to watch it back building towards Chatham and Millry. Seeing that tendency quite a bit with the storms around this evening. Also, further to the south, down in Mobile County, we've got some pretty nasty looking storms down here in the southern part of the county, again around Grand Bay. Let me loop the radar over the last hour, and this is a pretty definite motion on off towards the northeast. It's kind of jutting out a little bit there. Let's track that forward at about 20 miles an hour or so, and that was going to put it up, if it's going northeast, right up Interstate 10, and that'll have it in the Rangeline area, McGowan Park, Tolmanville, the Dawes area, all through about 8 o'clock. So we can see that moving on off towards the northeast there. And then as we look at what's going on in Greene County and on up into Washington County, storms here further to the north. So it's pretty active out there on radar right now. The main area that we're watching would be all of this here in Mississippi too. If everything continues east, it'll be kind of a stormy night across the area until at least after midnight or 1 o'clock, when the HRRR is showing a lot of this calm on down. We have plenty of activity going on. And so we'll keep an eye on this one here. This is our warned area. A lot of lightning strikes there in Washington and Clark counties. And I'll go back to our alerts and we'll highlight this here, and I'll give you some of the particulars on our thunderstorm warning until 7:45 p.m. So it'll remain in effect for another 20 minutes. Severe thunderstorm was located northeast of Chatham, moving east at 15. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail are possible. Hail damage to vehicles and wind damage to roofs, siding, and trees. Places like Jackson, St. Stephen's, and Leroy, and that's the warning there. So about a 15-mile-per-hour forward speed, actually, with that one there being indicated by the National Weather Service. So you can see right there, Coffeyville, the Chatham area, this entire area here showing up as red. Some of the areas where we have an even deeper color of a maroon coloration right there, that's a high level of reflectivity. And we should be able to go inside this some with some of our scope tools. Let me make sure I've got the right palette up so I can look inside the storm. This is the hail scope, and at this point not seeing a lot of hail, maybe one little pixel of hail showing up right in here around St. Stephen's. Other than that, just heavy rain moving into the area. So let's look at that there. And as we go further to the south, you can see right there around Grand Bay and coming up through Irvington, showers and storms in the southern part of Mobile County. And this would be about a 15-mile-per-hour forward speed. This is going to bring some rain, some showers, and some storms up into town. I'm going to take that a little bit more east-northeast. Dawes 737, Hollanders Island by 7:45, 7:57 by the Rangeline Road area, McGowan Park by 8:10 or 8:12, and then the DIP area by 8:19. And then taking a look at the risk zone map, marginal risk of severe storms again tomorrow. So we've got to watch out for that. It's not just for today, but also tomorrow, seeing the potential for some storms in our area with a real high rain chance at 80% for tomorrow. Another thing I want to talk about is the tropics a little bit just while we're here on Facebook, and we got a little bit more time than we would have during a newscast. And circled out in the Atlantic, got a little swirl. It's moving into some colder water, but that's actually a subtropical storm, meaning it's partially tropical and partially non-tropical in origin. And the track on it here shows that it's moving on off towards the northeast. But looking at what the Hurricane Center has done with this, they're showing the icons changing to L's, meaning it's just a non-tropical low. So it may be through the evening hours tonight a subtropical storm just a little while longer, and then it weakens. And it's obviously not coming our way. I mean, we're way down here, and this thing's way up here in the Atlantic, and it's going away from us. So we're watching that. Also, there's been some discussion about dust in the Atlantic Basin, and this is common. You get an area of showers and thunderstorms that forms up off of Africa. It creates dust, and it stirs up the dust from the Sahel and from the Sahara Desert, and that rush of wind and the westerlies will push the dust on off over into the Caribbean. This is a more intense round of dust than what we would typically see, and we see a lot of it right now in the Windward Islands, in Puerto Rico, in Hispaniola, and Cuba, as well as Central America. And what's going to happen is this dust is going to get pulled up into our area. I'll advance it. I have a little tighter view. We can already start to see some subtle hints of it in the northern Gulf. So some of that moisture is going to get pulled up, and I'm expecting Friday and Saturday some of the more intense dust that we have out there will get pulled in our area. And really what is going to happen here essentially is just going to get very hazy across the Gulf Coast. So we'll see that, along with a reduction in our rain chances. That's coinciding with some drier air and a change in the upper airflow pattern. And so we could actually get a drier trend too, along with the haziness. Okay, back to storm tracking. One more look at it if you're just joining us. We do have some severe thunderstorms right now in Washington and Clark counties. And so that is that cell here. And if you look at the last 3 hours, this is why it's difficult to track this, because the storms really aren't making any progress to the east. If anything, they're actually building more back to the west through time. You note that at the beginning of the radar loop, there's storms out here and they disappear or they vanish as they go to the east. And the intense cell keeps back building here in Washington County. If that trend continues, then we'll have the heavier storms back around Milroy here in the next hour or two. It's kind of been a back building scenario. Further to the south, we are seeing a more steady eastward progression of the storm. Certainly this one here getting going in Mobile County. It's about to sweep across Mobile County, across Grand Bay. George County and Greene County also showing some showers and storms, one getting closer to Leakesville, another one to the southwest of Lucedale there. So that's what we're indicating. All right. So that's an update on what's going on weather-wise in our area. You can see the showers and storms back up into Greene County and back into George County, and then the rain in Mobile County, and then the severe thunderstorm warning, which stays in effect for a little while longer That'll be in effect until 7:45 for Clark County. Just dropped that warning. So I just got that down. The new warning, new information is the warning for Clark County has been discontinued. We've seen this a couple times today. These are pulse severe thunderstorms, and so they're just briefly severe for 10 or 15 minutes, and then they weaken and fall apart. But as we look at Washington County and Clark County, you can see the storms there from Jackson up towards Coffeyville. They're weaker, but they still are producing heavy rain and a lot of lightning. We'll get some lightning in South Mobile County and some downpours, and the thunderstorms are holding together nicely in George County and Greene County. Looks like some more beneficial rains moving across the Gulf Coast. And I'll have a complete update on what we're seeing as far as our chances in your extended forecast coming up